I want to say good morning to everyone because it is migration news. However, it's not good news. It's absolute dog shit news. I'm going to be real with you. It is terrible. Why is it terrible? Because the devs once fucking again. I want to strangle them. Peter, you don't deserve a yacht, bro, because you ignored the entire community, including every content creator and even moderators that have been suggesting the one thing we didn't want you to do, which was repeat what you did last Empire migration event, which is what you've done in this event. If you don't know what we're talking about, guys, obviously you can see there's two groups here, which we are going to go through, obviously, in today's video. However, to set the tone, here we are with the preview image. And if you can just kind of follow the little mouse, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 fucking groups when there doesn't need to be 8 fucking groups. You could literally make this 4 groups or 3 groups, which we're going to showcase at the end of the video because it's quite simple how you could do this. So because of that, I'm a bit annoyed. I think everyone else is also quite annoyed. And don't just take my opinion for it, right? The Discord emojis, the reactions kind of say the exact same thing. 117 downvotes already. This has only been up for less than an hour, right? There's a lot of people sleeping right now. You've got Keck W's in there. You got the pukes, right? You got the right? We've got everything. Everyone just cannot believe what's going on, right? Because this is a fucking mess. So smash a like, comment, and subscribe. If you're looking forward to me potentially migrating to your empire, you will soon find out, because at the very beginning of all the migration groups, my group, Group 1, is in the same, right? So if you're in Group 1, you're in my empire grouping, which does mean, as some people, and as I asked around and double checked, that Karate is in there. He's in Empire 130. There's Empire 98 also that's in here, real cool contender. There is Empire 10 that you could go to. There's quite a few empires inside Group 1, but if you don't know what group you're in, I will run down each of them because you might be listening into your car, and I know you guys kind of like listen to some of the videos as you go to work and stuff, because obviously it's kind of like a podcast. So Group 1, if you're in this group, you're in Empire 64, so I can potentially migrate to you, so you can reach out to me, right? So if you're in Kingdom 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, or 10, so anything between 5 to 10 in the kingdoms, you're in Group 1. Empires 1 and 2, you're also in Group 1. Empires 8, 9, 10, and 11, so that's anything again between 8 and 11, you're in Group 1. And then Empires 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 4, 5, 6, 7, all the way to Empire 68, we are all in Group 1. Then going into Empire 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, and then finally Empire 99 is going to be Group 1. Empire 112, 13, and 14, you're going to be in Group 1. Empires 130, 131, you're also in Group 1. And then finally, Empires 171, 72, 73, 74, 75, and Empires 176. All of you guys are in Group 1. So you can see there's 42 empires in this group, and it is going to be a similar number that you're going to notice on each of these groups. And I'm going to be honest, I don't know why they've made them so small, and you'll see in a moment how they could have easily expanded these groups when we just start looking at what the other groups look like, right? So Group 1, that is everyone in there. If you heard your empire, reach out to myself, or you can reach out to Steve as well, who's a good close friend. He will let me know about certain empires, and he will also do a lot more talking, because as you guys know, I am pretty busy. So if I don't get around to your DMs, just wait, don't spam me, because if you spam me, I'm probably gonna shut it down, I'll be honest, because I don't like being spammed. You've got to remember, I'm a busy guy, right? We're a busy guy. Everyone's busy, right? We've got things to do. So Group 1, that is all completed, just to remind you guys. Group 2 now, it's pretty interesting too. You got Kingdoms 3 and 4. So any of these kingdoms or empires I'm about to say, you're in Group 2, just to remind you all, right? So Kingdoms 3 and 4, Group 2. Any empire going Empire 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 to 18, you are all group 2. So that's empires 12 to 18 all together. If you're in empire 36, you are in group 2. If you're in empire 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, and finally empire 87, you are all in group 2. So anyone from empire 77 to 87, you are all together. In group 2, there's also empires 105, 106, 107. Then you've got empires 120, 121, 22, 23, and empire 124, all in group 2. Empire 137 is on its own, and that is going to be in group 2. Then you got empire 145, 46, 47, and 148. That's going to be group 2. 158, 59, 60, 61, 62, and 163, 164 is also group 2. So if you heard any of your empires there in those groupings, you're group 2. So technically you can start talking to any of those guys through the migration chats that should be opening up pretty soon, and start discussing what their empires look like, what options you're going to have, and potentially on moving over there. So there's 41 empires in group 2. Going into group 3, you've got empires 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. So that's any empire from 19 to 29. You're in group 3. If you're empire 37, so big shout out to Shadow, because obviously we just had him recently. You're in group 3, so empire 37 there. You got empire 47 going to 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, and finally empire 58. So any empire from 47 to 58, you're in group 3. If you're in empire 100, 101, 102, 103, 104, you're also in group 3. If you're in empire 108, 109, and 110, you're in group 3. If you're in 117, you will also be in group 3. Empires 132 and 133, you are also in group 3. And then empires 149, 150, and 151, you're going to be in group 3 with 157, and finally 169 and 170. So that is all of that group completed. And then to finish things off is going to be what I would consider group 4, because when we get into group 5, these are the final remaining empires, what people would consider global launch servers. So these are like realms, kingdoms 1 going to like 150 to 200, and that is like where most of these empires have access to the exact same heroes. They're in the exact same stages of development of their game. There's just a little bit obviously difference in the delay on their kind of unlocks. That was it. So you can see how they've done this so far, and already before we carry on, you could have condensed these groups drastically. Let's be honest, we could have cut this by 50% easily if they wanted to, right? So just to finish off these first global groups now, group 4, you're on realm 1 and kingdoms 1 and 2. So if you hear any of those, you're in group 4. Empire 30, Empire 31, 32, 33, 34, and Havoc's big old Empire 35, you're in group 4. If you're in Empire 38, 39, or Empire 40, now that's going to be interesting because you've got two big actual powerhouse empires there, 35 and 40 together, and they're going to be competing for spots, right? So 40 is going to get even bigger potentially than 35, which is going to be, I think, a lot of hot topics people could probably talk about going into obviously migration time. Empires 115, 116, and 118, and 119. Those 4 empires, you're in group 4. If you're in empires 127, 128, and 129, you're in group 4. 134, 135, 136, you're in group 4. And then 177, all the way to Empire 195. So that is over like 18 servers there. I don't want to say 17, 18 servers. I'll be honest with you. I'll say a good 5 of them, but I'm not going to say 17 in a row. But if you're in Empire 177, 78, all the way now to 195. If you're in any of that bracket, you're in group 4, which to me looks like what they're trying to do, and maybe I'm wrong here, because there's so many bigger, older, like newer servers, right? These 127s and 177 to 195. Maybe the devs are trying to get these newer players that aren't, maybe as played, that played the game as long, try to get them into these empires like 40 and 35, while the other empires so far have kind of like a bit more of a mix to kind of generate this. I don't know. We're going to have to really look, I think, individually at what's happening. I think someone will hopefully do that as a content creator, because I think it'd be really interesting to watch. But, hey, that's what it is so far. So to finish it off now, we're on the final groups here. So you can see group 5, group 6, 7, and group 8. So group 5 kind of finishes out what I would consider the global empires, right? So these are 41 total empires again. So if you're empire 3, 4, 5, 6, or 7, you're going to be in group 5. Empires 41 to 46, so that's 42, 43, 44, 45, 46. You're all in there, right? Empires 69 to 76, so any empire like 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, you're all in group 5. Empire 111, you're in group 5 on your own. And then you're 125 to 126, now also group 5. You got empire 138, 139, 140, 42, 43, and then 143 and 44 to finish off group 5. And then 152 to 156, and then 165 to 168. So you can see the brackets there, quite plain as day. If you're in any of those brackets, you will be in group 5. If you're in group 6, this is empires 196, 197, 80, 98, and 99. That's all in group 6. Empires 204 going to 206 is going to be in group 6. 210 all the way to 217. If you're in that group of empires, you're also in group 7. Group 6, should I say? Apologize. 221 to 225, you're going to be in group 6. Then 234 to 243, group 6. 254 and then 255 as the final one. That is going to be group 6. And then when you look at the final ones, this is basically the remaining kind of newer empires. So empires 200 to 203, 207, 208, and 209. Any empire which is 218, 219, and 220. Anything between 226 to 233. So that means if you're in empire 229, 231, you're included in that bracket. That you're in group 7. 244 to 253 is group 7. 256 to 259, group 7. And then to finish off group 8 and the final empires that hasn't been mentioned, anyone from 260 can migrate all the way up to empire 293. So that is all of the migration brackets, and I will leave obviously the brackets up on screen just a little bit longer at each time as I kind of talk about them, so you guys can't see through. But in my opinion, and I think many other people's opinion, this could have easily been cut down by 50%. And I think if it was cut down even by 50%, many people would be much happier. Because what that would mean is, just for an argument's sake, you could have grouped like group 1 here, right, with something like group 3 or group 4, right? You want to group them in either the empires, like the 42 that's been separated in group 3, right, and group 4. So if you look, if we can get empire 40, which is separated, which it was, with these guys, what this is going to allow everyone to do is just basically put one of the weaker servers or weaker groups with a stronger group, because then you have the luxury of either building up an empire, or if you want to go to a stronger empire like the big dogs, you have the options to do so. And I think just by literally pairing up these groups, apart from obviously when it comes down to the ending side, that's a little bit different, right? But they could have easily grouped, just for argument's sake, 1 and 3, 2 and 4, right? 5 might have been on its own for a bit, right? Then you had 6 here with 7. Like, what we're doing, right? And then 8 on its own. That'd been fine, I reckon, too. But I think the issue many people are having with this Empire migration event, and why, even now, if we go back onto it, things are growing. You know, even I can react to these now and get these bad boys increased. Like, we don't want the thumbs up, right? We don't want the thumbs up. But it just showcases, like, how many people are reading this as I'm recording this video, and these numbers are slowly going up and more reactions are getting applied. Because the one thing everyone suggested to the devs, they've ignored. They've honestly ignored. We need many people to be able to move a lot more freely, because if you don't allow people to move freely, what's going to end up happening is, like what's happened right now, is people would have been for the last month, 2 months potentially, talking to many empires, including myself, which I will be 100% transparent with, right? I was talking and considering empires like 17, Empire 37, you know, even Empire 85 and 35. Like, I was really considering some of the top 10 servers, basically, and some of the big ones, especially the guys that I've been talking to through the Whale Insights, because after we finished recording those videos, we do have a little bit of a chat sometimes, and even pre-chat about empires and how things are going, about migration and that. And all of that, let's be honest, didn't matter, because we're not in any of those empire groups. And I think many people had this issue and are having this issue now, because it's one of the things we expected from the devs to, as they've done, obviously talk about migration, which looked okay on paper before, but then we expected them to increase the amount of slots. We expected them to increase the groupings to have more than 42 fucking servers in a group, right? Let's be honest, 40 servers. Like, what are we doing here? That's 40... We got what? 48, say 120, 200, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We got 206 there, right? Empires in total. And you've done that across 5 groups. What if you just literally divided that number instead by 3 or by 4? That means you'd have had 68 to 70, right? Because it's 68.66666666 recurring, right? So if you just did between, say, 65 to 70 servers in 3 different groups, well, you've just added 20 extra empires into any of this. And that's a massive amount of empire injection into a group. And it just adds a lot more options. It adds a lot more variety. You've added 30% extra. The 50% extra, right? Because you added 20 on and it's already 42. Like, what are we doing here? Adding 50% more, and it's easy. It's that easy to do. I'll be real. So that is the migration groups. You kind of heard my thoughts on it. Hopefully you guys, if you want to, let's see if we can make a change, put a comment down below. Let me know what you think to the groups. Are you impressed with the different groups that have been done through this entire Empire migration event so far? Or are you hoping the devs listen and actually change these empire migration groups and actually make better and more open migration, and even talk about slots? I know I even mentioned it even in this, but a lot of people, even in, like, I think Empire 87 was a really good example of this, or 73. I do apologize if I'm mixing the empires up, but I know one empire wanted to recruit, you know, they really wanted to recruit this migration event. But 75 slots isn't enough to make your empire competitive. And that's kind of the issue even we have in 64. Like, I would love to stay in 64 and just recruit people in and get people into my empire. But 75 isn't going to make an impact. It isn't. I need 150 to 200 people. I need to be able to get members into my main alliance and fill that bad boy up. People into the second alliance and fill that bad boy up, right? And then potentially in the third alliance, start building that ready So we have a competitive 3-man alliance. So in Desolate Desert and Mightiest Empire and Golden Expedition, we have 3 points of attacks, and we're not just relying on one only alliance to be rallying on these major point objectives, which many empires were trying to fix, right? And with these slots, with these migration groups, I don't think this is what people are asking for. So honestly, for me, to the devs, and maybe the community agrees, can you maybe just re-look at these fucking groups and just redo them and allow, like I've just done, put 60 to 65 or up to 68, 70 in a single group, and increase the amount of movement that players can actually do. And you might actually see these empires now consolidate and actually become quite competitive. And in the future, who knows, you might be able to bring out a new migration event again and allow players to go to dead servers that has no activity and no one really playing on, and rebirth to a brand new community, because you're able to do that in other games. And it's one of the best features to do with this. It's all about community, it's all about social, it's all about people. So why are you stopping us people from moving? It's as simple as that. So that is the Empire migration groups. You've heard my rant, you've heard my thoughts. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Until the next video, guys, smash a like, comment, and subscribe. Until then, stay safe, stay sneaky. Peace out.